Hello, everybody. It's good to be back, and it seems like a long time, but it's a real pleasure to have this opportunity to speak with one another again. What I want to do this morning is just to share an experience I had about 2 weeks ago, which I think has perchance has some relevance to our own lives this day. As I say, about 2 weeks ago, I was invited to share in the committal service of a young woman who had died. It was a sad story. She was maybe 29 years old, died of diabetic complications. But when we were planning the committal service, her parents, and she was survived by her parents, and she had 3 brothers, each of whom is married and has children, and was a very close, warm, fun-loving family. Her parents were very emphatic that at some point in the service, they wanted to share something that they had done all their lives, and their children are now doing it. It was an evening prayer they had done together. So I said, sure. So we did the committal service, and as we came to the end, they said, okay, now we want to do our evening prayer. And so the parents, the brothers, their wives, their children, they said, "And Our Father," a Hail Mary, and that little poem, "Now I lay me down to rest," you may have heard that. Apparently, this is the prayer service, this is the format, the ritual they had used from the time these little people were this high. And now those little people are in their 40s and 50s, but they're now sharing exactly the same service with their little people who are this high. And you could see how each generation, they were fully involved. Even the 5-year-olds and the 8-year-olds and 12-year-olds, they were very much part of this little prayer. And what struck me is how significant that prayer ritual was, something that just had been part of their life. That was how they were staying in touch with God. And so what I began thinking is, in these days of pandemic, how do we stay in touch with God? For the most part, I think people had the sense that we come to church on a weekend, and that's our connection, major connection with God. But pretty much people are not going to Mass these days, understandably. So the question is, how do we stay in touch with God? And my sense is that there are people like yourselves who are like this family, who have kind of created some sort of a pattern, a ritual of prayer to stay in touch with God. It may be in a family, may be a couple, may be a single person. But my thought was, what a great blessing it would be if you could share with us whatever it is you may have put together as a way of being in touch with our loving God. So what I'd just like to offer as a suggestion, an invitation, if you have had developed some kind of a format of prayer, would you be willing to share it with us? And on the screen, our technological wizard, Connie, will give you her email, and you can simply email it to her. And in a couple of weeks, maybe we can come back and share those stories with our wider audience, or even put it in the Sunday bulletin. So that's the invitation. My sense is that although we may not be going to church as a family yet, in some way we're still people of God. We still acknowledge our relationship, our dependency of God, upon God in our prayer. And we can do it as a family, as a couple, as an individual person. And if you like to share how you have tried to continue that relationship with God in these days of pandemic, if you could send them in to Connie, it would be a great blessing for all of us. So thank you for thinking of doing that. As I say, it will be a blessing Look forward to what you may share with us. It will enrich our community. Thanks again, and in the words of Dave Garraway, peace, everybody. Thanks so much.